On this long winter night, we remember Lupercalia. Older than Valentine, older than saints, a feral feast of wolves and blood. This story is called 5 Minutes.
Her growl is like fire, radiating danger. She bares her black-stained teeth, ready to sink them into my soft flesh. I stay perfectly still, looking anywhere but at her. If I don't handle this just right, it's going to go real bad for everyone. I keep my hands at my sides as I clear my throat and speak as gently as my always gruff voice will allow. I'm not your enemy. I know that's going to be hard for you to believe, but it's the God's honest truth. Now, I don't expect you to trust me right away. Trust like that, it's got to be earned, especially after what you've been through. I don't know all the details, but I can imagine. The world hasn't been kind to you. People haven't been kind to you, and that ain't right. If there's anything I could do to erase that pain, I would. I'd go back in time and end every son of a bitch that ever made you feel small and scared. But I'm sorry to say I can't. All I can do is sit here and show you that not all humans are complete pieces of shit. And I can give you this treat. Slow as I can, I reach into my pocket. Her growling gets louder, and she backs up even further into her kennel. I gently pull a piece of jerky out of my pocket. It's the good stuff from the pet store on the other side of town. I mean, not that the shelter doesn't give these dogs good treats, but I want to give them the best. I hold the treat between my thumb and forefinger. Now this is a hell of a treat, and I want you to have it. Knowing it wouldn't be wise to get my hand that close to her, I roll the treat over. She barely acknowledges it, all of her anger and fear focused on me. Not surprising. I study the dirt on my boots as I continue. You don't have to eat it, but it's yours. Ain't nothing gonna change that. And in return, all I want is 5 minutes of your time. For those 5 minutes, I'm gonna sit here. That's all. Won't look at you, won't pet you, won't nothing. And when those 5 minutes are up, I'm gonna give you another treat. And I'm gonna sit here for another 5 minutes. How's that sound? She just growls. Of course. Even from my peripherals, it's clear she's a hell of a dog. Probably about a year old. A Samoyed with the most beautiful white coat. Dirty, sure, but the patches of fur that aren't matted and muddy, they look as soft and fluffy as a goddamn cloud. For 5 minutes, I sit there, still as can be, relaxed as can be. Then I roll over another treat. Still, she ignores it. Another 5 minutes, another treat. After an hour, she's got a dozen, all ignored. But at 1 hour and 2 minutes, she sniffs them. I risk a glance and see drool plop onto the ground, but she resists temptation. She lifts her head from the treats and goes back to growling at me. She's a stubborn one, but that's all right. So am I. Well, okay, technically I got what's called an addictive personality. Point is, once I commit to something, I do it, or at least I try like hell to do it. When my ex Adam made it clear he was going to pack up and leave if I didn't get my drinking under control, I was at a meeting the next night. I was sober for 2 years. It was a fucking nightmare, but I did it. But the thing is, turns out me getting sober wasn't the magic solution to my and Adam's problems. It didn't make us a perfect fit, much as we both wanted it. Turns out, sober or drunk, I just wasn't right for him. But he wasn't going to end it, knowing that I'd likely go back to drinking a day after he dumped me. So I ended it. I moved out and spent a week drinking myself stupid at a hotel. I didn't want to do it at a bar where word might get back to him. Then one night, I was going for a walk, flask in hand, and I saw a piece of paper stapled to a utility pole. It read, "Animal shelter looking for volunteer dog walkers." I stopped by the next day, and that was that. I've been volunteering here every day since. Maybe not exactly how Sheila, the manager, was hoping I'd volunteer, but she's patient with me. And I'm not too concerned with the pups and the happy doggos that are clearly going to get adopted in less than a week. But show me a dog that's been through hell who'd much rather rip out my throat than lick me. Now that's a dog I want to help. That I'm gonna help, no matter fucking what. Like I said, addictive personality. It's been another hour, and this white cloud of a dog has a full-on mountain of high-end treats sitting in front of her, still untouched. But she's not growling anymore, so that's something. I know it's time for Sheila to close up. So slowly as I can, I get to my feet. The Samoyed growls, but it's quieter, less like a threat. I still don't risk making direct eye contact as I say, "Well, I should be going. You keep those treats, and don't be shy about eating them. Tomorrow, there'll be more where those came from." I gently latch the door to her kennel and make my exit. I come out into the lobby of the shelter and see Sheila drowning in paperwork as always. She takes off her reading glasses and asks, "So, what do you think?" I shrug. She'll be fine. You know, much as I like talking to animals, it'll be a cold day in hell when I have more than a few words for my fellow human. I mean, even one as kind and hardworking as Sheila. She nods, but a frown fills her face. "Right," she says. "But do you think she's prone to violence?" Again, I shrug. No more than she's had to be. Just give her some time. Sheila lets out a deep sigh and runs her fingers through her hair. I mean, she only does that when she's stressed. "That's the thing, Chuck. We don't know how much time we're going to have." I don't respond, but I give her a look that makes it clear she's got my full attention. "You know those attacks that have been happening in the woods?" I shrug. Adam used to say that I could carry on a full conversation just with shrugs. At the time, I thought it was a compliment. "But sure. Of course I know the attacks she's talking about. 2 months ago, Phil Conklin went hiking and never came back. At first, everyone thought he just got lost or high and would show up in a day or two, exhausted and embarrassed, but alive. But the only trace of him ever found was a torn leather jacket. And then last month, a couple of teens who'd been looking for a quiet spot to have a good time were found dead, bit and ripped all to hell. The girl had half her face torn off. The boy, well, let's just say there's more of him lost than found." Sheila runs her fingers through her hair again, and she says, "Well, Deputy Bertasso thinks it might have been the Samoyed." Bullshit. I spit the word out. That bastard doesn't know what he's talking about. That girl in there, she's been through hard times, sure. But she wouldn't attack anyone unless she had to. I mean, she wouldn't go after a couple horny teens playing hide the knuckle. Deputy Bertasso ain't never met a stray dog he didn't hate, and that's all this is. I'm sure of it, Sheila. I'm fucking sure of it. Sheila blinks at me, and I can feel my face turn red. Sorry. I mumble as I turn my eyes to the ground, terrified that my career as a volunteer dog walker has come to a sudden end. "Oh, no, it's fine," she replies. "It's just, I think that's more than you said to me in your entire year volunteering here." She gives me a small smile, and I can't help but chuckle with relief as much as anything. "And for the record," she continues, "I feel the same way. I think that girl's been dealt a shit hand, and the deuces just keep coming. It's hard enough to keep this place funded. If the deputy makes a stink about us harboring a dog that allegedly killed people, then we got a real fight on our hands. I'm not saying that I won't have that fight, but I cut her off. You don't have to. Because the shelter ain't going to harbor her. I will. I'm going to adopt her. Tonight." It's been 3 months since I adopted my sweet, fluffy cloud of a girl, and I named her Luna. Okay, sure. Not the most original name for a dog, but if you've ever seen her at night, with the moonlight making her fur practically glow, you'd name her the same thing. It took about a month for her to settle in, but now we're attached at the hip. Except when I go to walk the dogs at the shelter. She's not a fan of other dogs. I'm guessing humans aren't the only danger she faced when she was a stray. When I get home, she sniffs me like a jealous partner. But then I toss her a treat and all's forgiven. It's getting late, but I'm not ready to head back from our nightly walk. The thing is, just because I'm sober, that don't mean I'm not an alcoholic. There's this little voice in my head that says on repeat, just one drink won't hurt. And some days, that voice ain't so little. And on those days, like today, I go on long walks with Luna. Until I'm so tired that all I can do when we get home is pass out. Luna don't mind, of course. Now, it's not like I'm waltzing us out into the middle of the woods. The attacks have continued and a couple more people met grisly ends. The good news is that it means Luna's no longer suspected of being the attacker. Well, at least not suspected by anyone except Deputy Bertasso. Honest to God, I think being proven wrong just made him hate Luna more. Anyway, the attacks mean now there's a strict curfew that no one's allowed in the woods after dark. So instead, Luna and I go for our walks near the edge of town. No lamplight here, but on a night like tonight, when the moon is full and bright, I feel like we're pretty safe. That is, until Luna starts growling. She's come to a sudden stop, her hackles raised as she glares into the woods. I haven't heard her growl like that since the day I met her, but there's something else. A sound I don't recognize. A second growl. Deeper. Stranger. Something's watching us. My hand that isn't holding Luna's leash reaches for the hunting knife clipped to my belt. Careful, Chuck. A voice like sandpaper calls from the opposite side of the street. Damn it. I know exactly what I'd see without even turning to look. Deputy Bertasso brings his quietly coasting car to a stop. This isn't the first time he's followed us, headlights off, hoping for some excuse, any excuse to provoke Luna. But this is easily his worst fucking timing. I'd take your hand off that gun if I was you, he taunts. It'd be a shame to have to arrest you for threatening a police officer. I'd hate to think of how that little bitch might react. He spits, most likely in Luna's direction. Usually I'd try to ignore him, but I'm so on edge that I can't hold back. It's a hunting knife, you fucking dimwit. Now shut the fuck up. I snap at him without taking my eyes off the woods. Luna, too, hasn't even growled at the deputy. Whatever's out there is a bigger threat than Bertasso. What the fuck did you say to me? I hear the deputy's car open and then slam shut. Motherfucker, look at me when I'm talking to you. Luna starts barking, but it's not at the deputy. It's definitely towards the woods. Shit, this is bad. I need to get things under control or before I can finish the thought, I'm being shoved to the ground. I barely get out the word deputy before my mouth hits the pavement. I feel a tooth break, maybe two. The deputy's knee is pressed hard against my back. As he grabs my left arm to handcuff me, my right arm is being pulled in the other direction by Luna, barking so loud I can hardly hear Bertasso. I don't know what fate awaits Luna out in the woods, but I do know what's going to happen if this bastard gets his hands on her. I quickly unwrap Luna's leash from around my wrist. Luna, run, I yell. Blood and bits of tooth falling from my mouth. Bertasso keeps his knees on my back, but stops trying to handcuff me, and I'm sure he's deciding whether to go after my girl. Hey, you get back here, you little... The deputy screams in absolute agony. It mixes with the sounds of ungodly growls and flesh being torn. My face still in the dirt. I can't see anything, but I'm terrified that Luna is attacking the bastard who wants any excuse to put her down. I get out a muffled, Luna, stop. And then a moment of silence, quickly followed by a wet thud. Still on the ground, I see the deputy resting his head on the pavement, staring at me, his eyes wide, shocked. His mouth moves, but no sound comes out. Deputy, is all I get out. Before I feel something wet touch my cheek pressed against the pavement, and that's when I realize the deputy's weight is still on my back. But how is that possible if his head's in front of me? That's when my brain catches up with what I'm seeing. Deputy Bertasso's decapitated head, still twitching, lies before me as blood pours from the gaping wound that used to be his neck. His lips open and close, almost like he's trying to say something. Then he goes still, the life leaving his eyes. There's a hungry growl to my right as the deputy's body is pulled off of me. I hear it chew on the officer's remains. Slowly, I shift my eyes so I can see the officer's killer in my peripherals. I'd call it a beast, but that would be the understatement of the century. This thing is a fucking monster. It has a full fur coat and the front legs of a wolf, but the size and the hind legs of a human. Its head is currently chin deep in the deputy's intestines, but I have a sneaking suspicion that its face is a fucked up human-wolf combo, just like the rest of this horrifying creature. I stay perfectly still as I assess the situation. There's no sign of Luna. That's good. I would have heard her yelp if this thing did anything to her. So what I gotta do is decide whether I'm better off playing dead or making a run for the hideous creature makes his decision for me. It suddenly nose to snout with me like it was drawn to the sound of my breathing. Blood drips from its maw, but that's not what draws my attention. It's this bump on its snout. Wait, no, not a bump. A nose ring? A mix of blood and drool drips from the monster's chin as it bares its teeth ready to strike. As the beast's mouth opens wide, I close my eyes. I hear tearing and ripping and growling. But I feel nothing. I open my eyes, and she's there. My sweet girl, my cloud, my Luna, fighting tooth and nail against this absolute nightmare of a beast that dwarfs her, risking her life for me, facing an enemy there's no way she can beat, all because I'm the first person who ever showed her a hint of kindness. And that kindness is about to cost her her life. Fuck that. Like a slow-motion car crash, I see the monster get on its hind legs, towering above Luna, ready to snap down on the back of her neck. Faster than I've ever moved in my life, I lunge forward and shove Luna out of the way. The beast's teeth clamp down on my outstretched arm. For a moment, I go blind with pain. But what I gotta do next don't take perfect aim. As the monster tears into my bicep, I use my free hand to unclip my knife, and I swing it straight into the fucker's body, over and over and over again. I don't know where I'm stabbing, and I don't care. Neck, chest, gut, it's all the same. As long as this fucker's too bloody and broken to go after Luna by the time I die, then I'll die happy. I don't know how many times I thrust my knife into the beast. I just know I'm going to do it until I stop breathing. But that moment never comes. It's not until Luna enters my field of vision that I stop stabbing. My sweet girl, bloody and limping but standing. She's okay. Oh, thank fuck she's okay. I let the knife fall from my hand with a huge sigh of relief. Luna's alive and the monster's dead. And that's when I realized that the monster don't feel so heavy anymore, or as furry. In fact, the only thing I feel pressed against me is skin. I look at the limp beast, and for the first time, I scream. Phil Conklin. Dead as a fucking doornail, covered in dozens and dozens of stab wounds. Dead by my hand. I vomit all over the pavement. I try to hold myself up as I retch, but my arm that was chewed to shreds gives out, exposed muscle and tendon flopping onto the concrete. I land in a mess of blood and bile. I'm dizzy. I'm so fucking dizzy. The world's spinning. I see the exposed bone of my arm spin in my field of vision. The spinning continues, but the bone disappears. In its place, fur? That doesn't make sense. Nothing makes any fucking sense. I'm so confused. So dizzy, I'm ready to pass out. Luna licks my face, trying to keep me awake, but I can't think straight. Can't think at all. Can't think. I can just feel, only feel. I feel angry. So fucking angry and hungry. So hungry. Sounds. There are so many sounds, and they're all so loud. Bugs buzzing, blood dripping, tongue licking. I growl. The foe jumps back. I see her clearly. Red and white and dangerous. I must survive. I must fight. I bare my teeth. The red and white foe gets low to the ground, to convince me they're not a threat. But I am a threat. I am a threat, and I am angry, and I am so fucking hungry. I lunge at the red and white foe. She yelps before I touch her. I freeze, teeth inches from her. This feels wrong. Why? Why? I'm confused. I'm hungry. I'm angry. I'm hungry. I'm scared. I run. I run. Run from the confusion. Run from the red and white foe. Run from the sounds. Run for I don't know how long. My 4 legs carry me so fast, so far. I find safety. I find a cave. Quiet here. No foes. I hide for I don't know how long. Don't care. Less smells here, less confusion, but still hunger. So much hunger. A twig snaps. I jump to my feet, arch my back, growl. Something at the entrance of the cave. The foe. Red and white. Something in its mouth. A rabbit. A dead rabbit. The foe drops the rabbit, pushes it to me. I take a step. No. This must be a trick. I growl at the rabbit. It smells so good. No. Focus on the foe. I growl, show my teeth, protect myself. The red and white foe won't look at me. No matter how much I growl, won't threaten me, won't challenge me. Am I safe? Or is this a trick? Time passes. Seconds? Minutes? Don't know. The foe leaves. I sniff the rabbit. It smells so good. No, don't touch. Don't give in. Could be a trick. The foe comes back. This time with a dead squirrel. Again, the foe pushes it to me. I growl. Again, the foe won't look at me. Again, the foe gives me space and food. The foe makes me feel safe.
The feast is over. The bond remains. Good night.
You've been listening to Long Winter Nights, Love and Other Deaths, a horror story advent calendar. 5 Minutes was written by Kerry Kazmierowicztrimm and read for you by Ben Messmer. The music was composed by Adrian Prevost, with sound mix by Austin Chase. Video editing was done by Matt Hill and Cody Derr. The opening narration was read for you by Alba Albanese. Love and Other Deaths was produced by Matt Hill, Chelsea Sutton, Sanaye Dring, and Lyndsey Stogdill. Executive producer meriko borogove. Long Winter Nights was co-created by Matt Hill, Chelsea Sutton, and Sanaye Dring. Copyright 2026. To learn more about our team and where you can hear more of these tales, visit longwinternights.com.